There is a crisis in homelessness funding in Portland. What? Yes, I know. It didn't seem like there was supposed to be crisis in homelessness funding in Portland because there is so much money going to homelessness services in Portland. It's that new tax. Do you remember that new tax? Washington and Clackamas County, as well as Multnomah County voters, all agreed in 2020 that there should be a tax on high-income earners and on businesses that would specifically go to funding homeless services. This was to fix the homeless problem, which, as you may have noticed, has been fixed. I'm kidding, it hasn't been fixed. In Multnomah County, the primary funder of homeless services is the county. It's not the city. There's some money that goes through the city. The city provides homeless services as well, but the majority of funding, like the vast majority of it, goes through the county. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, so it's 2023. There's been 2 fiscal years worth of this funding, and Multnomah County has something like $50 million that they haven't spent, that is just like sitting on their books. They don't have a plan for it. They actually had some planned budgeted money that they didn't manage to spend. All of that ends up in this $50 million pot. This is summer 2023. At that time, there was immense pressure from the public, from other governments, for the county to spend that money. There was also this problem. That $50 million was one-time funds. The county also had $12 million in federal pandemic relief funds. So they had a lot of money that they knew wasn't going to last, and they had to find a way to spend it and spend it responsibly. Whether they spent that money responsibly or not depends on your perspective. They took a good chunk of that money and spent it on one-time projects. So they built new shelter facilities, for example. They stood up new programming. They paid rent assistance. There's a whole bunch of other things they did that were one-time, and they used one-time funding for one-time projects. Where it gets tricky is there were also projects that they spent money on where those projects involve staffing and direct services. When a program involves staffing and direct services, it's often considered ongoing, meaning you would like this program to continue. The people that are really mad at the county are saying, look, they used one-time funding improperly, they spent it on ongoing services, and there should be some consequences for that. And the county is saying, look, it's true. We spent one-time money on services that ideally would be ongoing. There are services we would like to see continue. For example, jobs programs where people who are homeless or have recently been homeless get trained to back up to be in a job where they can make their own wage. But when you talk to Dan Field, who is the director of the Homeless Services Department at the county, he now says, look, we knew it wasn't going to last. We were clear about that as we could be. And I stand by, this is him talking, I stand by the money that we moved into the community. That's what he told the Oregonian Oregon Life. He said that those people would not have been, the people that were served by those funds while those funds were going out into the community would not have been served otherwise, and he thinks that was a worthwhile trade-off. Did the county break their own budgeting rules when they spent one-time funds on what could be considered ongoing programs? Probably. Was that the right thing to do? Maybe. County says yes. The reader question I get the most often is we're spending so much money and the problem does not seem to be getting better. What gives? That is a question I'll continue to pursue in my role as a homelessness and mental health reporter at the Oregonian. To read my reporting on this story and other stories about homelessness, please go to OregonLive.com/politics.